pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are live. We are live. We are local every morning, 6 to 9:30 a.m. all over Central Florida. We got you covered on FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740. We got you on HD radio as well, 101.1-2. We also have you on social media where you can watch us live and in color. Just go to YouTube, search for the Open Mic live stream, and there we are. You can also find us on Twitter, on Twitch, all sorts of places. Yeah. We want to hear from you throughout the course of the show, okay? Welcome to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. Joining me, as always, is Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect, and, of course, Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound.
Yeah, baby! That's right, that's what I'm talking about. I'm so excited because now I'm officially rested, and I think my brain is finally starting to work a little bit after that weekend, I tell you what. Super excited for today.
Good for you. We need to come up with a nickname for Kelly Velez, who's now training on the board here on Open Mic. Well, yeah, we need a nickname. Everybody has a nickname on this show. How about Austin? How about since he's training with you, you're the king of production. How about the Prince of Production?
That might be pretty good.
I can roll with that.
That's right, the Prince of Production. It's all about the pop over here, brother.
That's it. The Prince of Production. I can roll with that.
All right. Kelly Velez, the Prince of Production, until we come up with something better. How about that? All right, we want to hear from you throughout the course of the show. Give us a call, 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 96.9 The Game. You can also vote on all of our polls at 96.9 The Game on Twitter. You can also text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line. That's 50857. Do not forget, we've got your chance to win $1,000 12 times per day with our game day payday starting at 7:10 a.m. every morning and on the 10s throughout the day. When you hear the keyword, just head to our website. Don't text it in. Head to our website, 969thegame.com. Enter the word, and you can win $1,000 compliments of International Diamond Center. We like to begin every show with our Open Mic early morning inspirational quote of the day. This comes from the great Pablo Picasso, who once said, and I quote, "Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone," end quote. I'm guessing he didn't sleep very well.
Yeah, probably not. He was constantly like, man, what if I die right now?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Deceptive intellect, you got a deeper meaning to that?
Wait, is that just not a play on what? Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. Is that essentially it?
No, well, he's taking it a little deeper.
It's a little further.
Only
It's
put off until tomorrow what you're willing to die having left undone.
Yeah.
I hate this quote, man. I hate it.
Of course
I
you
hate
do.
it so much.
Of course you do, because you procrastinate and leave everything till tomorrow. Don't you?
But hold on, it's more than that. It's more the idea of setting your priorities, okay? And there are some things that you can die and it'll be fine, all right? There's some things you can die and it won't affect anything else, all right? Washing your car. Listen, if I die, my car's going to be fine, okay? It's totally whatever. However, there are some things like loving your loved ones, saying I love you, saying things like I care about you, making friendships. That's what you should be doing today.
Yeah, no, but
don't kill yourself.
Yeah,
over
but that's
it.
what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. Like, so for you,
it feels like a work thing in this quote.
I know because I park right next to Austin's car. He is not losing sleep over cleaning that car.
Not at all.
I can promise you that.
It is ugly inside.
I leave about maybe an hour before Austin leaves, and all I know is if I'm ever really really hungry, there's at least a box of Nutri-Grain bars in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
He also, for anybody who's a little cash strapped, and if you don't win the $1,000 that we give away 12 times a day on this program, if you're ever looking for a couple bucks, Austin likes to keep his wallet right there on the right there on the passenger seat. Norman, and like he must jam his dollar bills as opposed to like fold them and put them in there.
Yeah.
There's always like a couple dollar bills like poking out, like, please.
Listen, if somebody wants to steal my wallet, go for it. Okay,
You leave your wallet? You leave your wallet
Absolutely.
in your car to be seen?
Yeah,
that's
wide
insane.
open. Well, it is kind of
insane.
camouflaged underneath the Taco Bell
Underneath all the
wrappers and all that
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
That's insane. What? I haven't ever had anyone break into my car. I hope someone breaks into my car. It means I can get a new one.
I'm always waiting for the guy who steals my identity and then like reaches back out to me and goes, "Man, dude, I wasted all my time getting your identity, all the resources."
Wow. The Orlando Magic lost another game last night to the San Antonio Spurs, but what happened before the game was more significant. Obviously, members of the Magic and Spurs locked arms on the court, held a moment of silence last night following the police killing of a 20-year-old black man, Dante Wright, in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Brooklyn Center police said they pulled Wright over on Sunday as he was traveling with his girlfriend. They pulled him over because of an expired tag. Upon discovering Wright had an outstanding warrant, officers attempted to place him into custody. However, he re-entered his vehicle and an officer shot him from close range. Police Chief Tim Gannon up in Minnesota told reporters he believes the officer in question mistakenly thought she was using a taser instead of a live firearm. Here's Magic coach Steve Clifford talking about the show of unity with the Spurs last night.
It was precipitated by the Dante Wright shooting. Guys on both teams spoke again, just a symbol of how badly that everybody feels that we need change, in our country. And obviously in the last 10 days, that's not the only thing that's happened. I think so. Again, peaceful protests continue to attempt to bring awareness to the problems that we have in our country right now. And like I said, the players got together and I thought it was a great idea.
Okay, that was Steve Clifford. Magic center Wendell Carter Jr., he talked about it as well. He was pretty emotional about it.
It's important to do stuff like that, for sure. Using our platform to show that the stuff that's going on in this world is just not right. This thing is way bigger than basketball, in my opinion. So we have a lot of fans. We got a lot of people who watch these games. And, for us to go out there and do something like that, I feel like is a great thing. But at the same time, it's like it's still tough. Just knowing what happened, it's a tough thing. But what we did tonight, I feel like was a great thing, and just got to continue to do stuff like that.
Wendell Carter Jr. talking last night. The Minnesota Twins, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Wild all postponed their scheduled games on Monday following the shooting. Obviously, I think what the Magic Spurs did last night, that sent the right message. The Minnesota teams made the right decision to cancel their games, not just philosophically, but obviously for safety reasons as well. There is a lot of unrest in Minnesota right now for obvious reasons. For this to happen at the same time and in the same state that the Derek Chauvin trial is going on in Minnesota. Obviously, he's on trial for George Floyd's death a year ago. I mean, good Lord, what an awful circumstance that this happened in Minnesota. And obviously, you hope the protests are peaceful, but emotions are raw in this country right now, racially, politically, socially. We've seen it over the last 2 years. Sports is not going to ignore what's going on in this country. Athletes, especially in the NBA, especially in the NFL, where the majority of those athletes are black, they're going to react. We saw it after George Floyd's death last year. We saw it just a couple of weeks ago with Major League Baseball pulling the All-Star game out of Georgia because of Georgia's new voting law, and we're seeing it again now, and we will continue to see it. These aren't just news stories anymore. These are sports stories as well, and we will react to them. Adam, Austin, do you guys have any reaction to what happened yesterday in sports?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just the way that sports can use its platform and its athletes to use its platform to continue to push, these news stories and why we need, some major changes to the way we do things in this country. I hate that it turns into, if you say, hey, what happened there is wrong, you're not supporting police, because 99% of police are doing the right thing. But you don't get the oops, I thought that was a taser. To me, the oops when it costs somebody their life is not right. The oops, I didn't know I could kill somebody when I put my knee on their neck for 10 straight minutes while they're gasping for air, pleading for their mothers. You don't get that oops. You know what I mean? We need better training. We need a bunch of different things. And again, I support police. Police have a very difficult job, a job that I wouldn't want to do. But if you're going to take that job and you're going to be, have people's lives in your hand, you need to be well trained. You have to be well equipped to handle situations that I'm not equipped to deal with. But again, I didn't sign up for that job. And so it's really, really tough. And again, people want to just separate sports from the rest of the world. It doesn't work that way. I mean, you take your issues to work every day. I take my issues to work, and we try to put them on the back burner, but they're always going to be there. And if I had the sort of platform that these guys had, I think I would try to use it to the best of my ability. And I think, I think we all do that. I mean, if we know somebody who's suffering from breast cancer, how many of us, post, some pink ribbons on their Facebook page? Our platform not as large as LeBron James or anybody else like that, but when we see issues that we feel strongly about, we post about them, and that's no different than what these guys are doing right now. And I commend them.
Yeah, I commend them as well. We're going to continue to follow this story. Obviously, we're not going to ignore it. When athletes react, we are going to react as well. Straight ahead, Steph Curry breaks the record of one of the most mythical figures in sports, which I think we can get
all-time Warriors scoring list. Unreal, and he did it in the first quarter.
Yeah, Steph Curry needed 19 points to surpass the great Wilt Chamberlain as the Warriors' all-time leading scorer. He got 21 in the first quarter, finished with 53 last night as Golden State beats the Denver Nuggets. And, man, here I didn't realize this, all right? First of all, I didn't realize that Wilt Chamberlain played for the Warriors. And, again, he was even before my time, all right? So I guess I always thought he played for the Philadelphia 76ers and then went to the Lakers, but I guess he played for the Philadelphia Warriors. Can somebody Google that? Did he play for the Philadelphia Warriors and then the Philadelphia Warriors moved to Golden State? Is that what happened?
I'm looking it up now.
Because because he, obviously he started his NBA career in Philadelphia. And I guess it was the Philadelphia Warriors. I should have looked that up before the show.
Weren't
but
they
anyway,
in San Francisco as well? Maybe
Yeah,
that's
he
why.
played for the Philadelphia/San Francisco Warriors,
Yeah.
the Philadelphia 76ers, the LA Lakers, and the
So he played for the Philadelphia Warriors and the Philadelphia 76ers?
that is what his Wikipedia page says.
So,
Okay.
so were the Warriors in San Francisco then moved to Philadelphia, then became the 76ers?
No, I think
The Warriors were founded in 46 as the Philadelphia Warriors.
Okay.
And they
Then what happened?
then, let's see, the team signed Wilt Chamberlain in 1959 when they were still the Philadelphia Warriors.
And then they transitioned to the San Francisco Warriors
Right.
in 62
Right.
and became the Golden State Warriors in 71.
Yeah, there you go.
So when did he play for the 76ers? Wilt, you said he played for the 76ers as well.
Did
65, starting at 65.
yeah.
Could you imagine living in Philadelphia and then moving to California and going, you know what I really miss? Philadelphia. Can you imagine
Moving
that?
back to Philadelphia. Back then he probably didn't have a choice because athletes didn't have much free. There was no free agency back then. You went where you were sent. So so Wilt Chamberlain scored 17,783 points with the Philadelphia Warriors. He also scored 100 points in one game when playing for the Philadelphia Warriors, and everybody knows that's one of the great records of all time. In fact, Steph Curry, I don't know if you guys know this, all right, but there was no real so when Wilt scored 100 points in a game, there was no photographers or journalists at the game covering the game. It was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was, for whatever reason, the Philadelphia Warriors were playing a game in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And there was no real, photojournalists there. So after he scores 100 points, I guess it was some team photographer or something, took a picture of Wilt holding up a sheet of paper. A white sheet of paper that had 100 on it. It's a famous photo.
Yeah.
All right. So last night, Steph Curry, with the same pose as Wilt way back when, he held up a sheet of paper that said 17,784, I think is
Nice.
yeah. So anyway, great accomplishment by Steph Curry. Anytime you can break Wilt Chamberlain's record at anything, the guy was a stat machine back in the day. Averaged 50 points a game one season. Obviously scored 100 in a game. Can we get a spontaneous text question out of this? Let's have the sound.
Text question of the day.
I was thinking during the break, maybe it could be like, all right, in honor of Steph Curry breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record, athlete from the past. All right, historic, mythical athlete that if you could go back in time and have like a front row seat to see this athlete play, who would it be?
Oh,
Who would it be?
Interesting. Ooh, that's such a good question.
I think I have one. All right. And it would probably be Arnold Palmer. And I would like to have been in Arnie's army, in the gallery when Arnie was emerging, and Arnie was like the guy who brought golf to the TV age, and he's also the guy that and one of the reasons he was beloved is because he would fraternize with the fans in the gallery while he's playing. So I would have liked to have been on the front row of Arnie's army with Arnie fraternizing with me during the Masters or something. I think that would have been awesome.
I would have liked to have been front and center, front row in Berlin when Jesse Owens was absolutely demolishing the Olympic Games. There's me in like row 3 eating a hamburger, looking up and go, ooh, that little guy's mad up there. Woo! Look at him.
No, you would have liked to have been sitting right beside Adolf Hitler as Jesse Owens. Hitting him in the hey, how about that, Adolf? Yeah.
Ooh, that guy with the mustache. Charlie Chaplin is so mad up there. I don't know. That guy is so upset. What is he so mad for? I thought he was a silent guy. He is yelling something up there. I don't understand what he's saying. You go, Jesse. You go, Jesse.
Oh, you would have never gotten out of Germany, I'm afraid. Yeah.
For me, it's got to be Nolan Ryan pitching. Oh my gosh, I would love to be at one of his career no hitters.
How old are we when somebody goes, oh, if I could go back in time and watch a guy,
Nolan Ryan.
He says Nolan Ryan.
I almost said Michael Jordan. Okay.
Oh my God.
I almost said Michael Jordan. I would love to be sitting on the front row seats to watch Michael Jordan play in his prime. You kidding me? That would be crazy.
I like what Adam did. Here's the amended text question. If you could go back and watch an athlete of the past accomplish one feat, what would it be? Like Wilt's 100-point game, or as you just mentioned, Jesse Owens, showing the Aryan nation who's really the boss when it comes to the athletes. So yeah, I love that.
When Randy Johnson blew up the bird. That's what I
Peter, that was Austin Pistolka who said that, okay?
Hey, my Twitter handle is @RadioGuyAustin. Come at me.
I can't lie. I will say that when that happened, I watched that GIF file about 10 billion times.
Oh my gosh.
Look like a pillow fight gone wrong.
That was arguably one of the first, in the internet age, sports clip to go super viral.
Yeah.
Super viral.
Absolutely.
All right, text those into 50857. Right around the corner. First it was UCF, and now it's FSU has jumped into the name, image, and likeness revolution. I'll explain next on Open Mic.
More Open Mic up next.
Cowardly. Wrong. When you owe the IRS or state sales tax and can't pay.
I think that's even greater. In 2021 and into the future, I think that's a better investment for your corporate dollars.
All right, thought-provoking daily poll question. Austin, do you have it?
I do. Our thought-provoking daily poll today, which you can vote on Twitter at 969 The Game, is this. With FSU announcing Monday it is partnering with a company to help its athletes capitalize on the upcoming name, image, and likeness legislation, is this being done more to help FSU athletes or to lure FSU recruits?
Cynical. What a cynical question. Yeah.
Man, wonder who wrote that.
All right, go vote at 96.9 The Game. Straight ahead, Orlando City game's going to be full capacity this year. That's what the owner says. That's next on Open Mic.
Bianchi's
And the first pitch to him is lifted in the air to left field. Backing up on it is White, still going back to the track, to the wall, jumps up, it is gone! Willie Adames had that biscuit for breakfast, and he just tucked it over the yellow line in left field for a solo shot. The Rays are on the board. It's 1-0.
That's all our Rays needed. All they needed was that one run as they beat the Texas Rangers 1-0 yesterday. We are the home of the Rays right here on FM 96.9, The Game, AM 740. We have selected Rays games on our show. In fact, we have one tonight. We have Rays versus Rangers. Coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. right here on FM 96.9, The Game, and AM 740. All right, let's go to, let me see what we have here from our text line. Our text question is, athlete from the past you would like to have a front row seat to have seen the Thrilla in Manila. Somebody texted in Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. Well, was that Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, right? Was that the Thrilla in Manila?
No,
Oh, that was Joe Frazier.
That's Joe Frazier. You're thinking Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah. Was that the Rope-a-Dope? Was that the Rumble in the Jungle? Yeah. Thriller in Manila. Joe Frazier. Don't let it amaze you when I beat Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier may come out smoking, but I ain't gonna be joking. No. The great Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali was so mean to Joe Frazier, too. So mean to him. Joe Frazier genuinely hated Muhammad Ali.
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't even think like later on in their lives that they ever reconciled truly. Like
oh really?
Yeah,
Not because Muhammad Ali was so mean to him. He just called him names and
called him ugly, stupid,
racial
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff. Oh yeah.
So anyway, keep those coming in. 50857. What else? Did you say we had Ernesto on line one? What do we got from Ernesto up in Jacksonville? Ernesto.
Well, I had a front row seat for Mike Bianchi when he was in Jacksonville.
That's right. When I fought Roy Jones Jr. at the Jacksonville Kennel Club for an exhibition. Remember that?
Oh, that was epic.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I heard that the ghost of Scott Frost has been haunting UCF ever since Malzahn got hired. And one more thing, I want to sponsor. I want to represent Austin. After watching everything he did at WrestleMania and his social media, I want to be his representative. I got an idea. You can send him around the country in an RV and a camper, and we'll call it Austin City Limit.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That is Ernesto from up in Jacksonville. We always like hearing from him. All right. A couple of Orlando City stories I wanted to get into. All right. So their owner, Flavio Augusto da Silva, who has the team for sale, by the way, and I've tried to get interviews with him, but they're not responding to me interviewing Flavio
Unless you've
Augusto
got a check for him. I don't think he's, hey, I want to buy the team. All right, now answer these questions.
But anyway, he was on social media. I think, what was he on? I think he was on his Instagram machine, if I'm not mistaken. And he posted on social media that he thinks that Orlando City games are going to start out. Orlando City opens the season on Saturday at home at Exploria Stadium, 50% capacity, but he says he expects 100% capacity by the third game of the Major League Soccer season, which is May 22nd against Toronto FC. So in about a month, a little more than a month, Flavio is expecting capacity at Orlando City games. Do you guys think that's going to happen? Because I do. I think he's right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you look at what happened in the state of Texas, and again, because this does have political influence, sort of is dictating some of the stuff in some states. People still aren't allowed to go to restaurants, and then there's other states where it's, wide open. We have a governor in the state that tends to lean towards the The Lions thinking of opening things up. Matter of fact, when there was nothing going on, he was like, "Hey, bring your sports to Jacksonville," and the UFC was in Jacksonville for a little bit, so wouldn't shock me at all.
Well, even Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings, who's not conservative, in fact, he's liberal. He announced yesterday they're going to start relaxing some of the mask and social distancing requirements in Orange County. So again, it's looking more and more like we're going to have full capacity at Orlando City games. We have a poll on that, by the way. Do you agree with Flavio that they're? I don't know how we worded that poll. Do you have it up, Austin?
I'm pulling it up right now. It is, do you agree with Orlando City SC owner Flavio Augusto da Silva that Lions home games could be at full capacity by next month? Yes,
I actually do agree with him. Is it wishful thinking? Maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking, but when you look, as Adam just mentioned, when you look who our governor is, and when you look at what Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings said yesterday, yeah, I'm starting to think so. When you look at the number of people that are being vaccinated in Orange County, I mean, our numbers as far as vaccinations are huge in Orange County. So we shall see. In fact, I think everybody in Orange County has probably been vaccinated except Gus Malzahn. All right, here's the other Orlando City story I wanted to get to. And Adam, you are the soccer aficionado on Open Mic. So Don Garber, who's the MLS commissioner, he said yesterday that young Orlando City star Daryl Dike is a $20 million player, which is essentially what Orlando City has said. Orlando City has essentially said, hey, anybody who wants Daryl Dike, any of you big-time European teams want Daryl Dike, it's going to cost you a $20 million option to buy 80% of Daryl Dike's rights. That was the price tag they put on his rights when they loaned him to Barnsley, which is a European club in I don't know what league they're in. All right.
They're in the second level of
but they're
English
trying to move
soccer.
up.
Yeah. They remember when they sent him over there, they were in 12th place. You needed to get to at least 6th place to get into the promotion contention there, and they're in 5th place right now, and they've only lost one game since DK's been there. He scored a bunch of goals.
He scored I had the stat right here. He scored 7 goals in 11 games.
That I mean, and again, this is in the 2nd division, so I mean, I want to kind of hold back a little bit, but those numbers are just ridiculous. Look at Orlando does have somebody who scores when he wants to. It just wasn't Dom Dwyer, okay?
Yeah. By the way, Dom Dwyer not playing anywhere right now, which is a bit surprising. Here's my question, though. All right. So Orlando City, obviously, they're expecting a big season this year. They made the playoffs last year. They want to take it another step this year. Why is it okay? Why is it okay to just sell the rights to your best player? Isn't that sort of like, and I realize soccer's different, all right? Yeah. Isn't that sort of like almost tanking?
No.
Isn't that sort of...
No, because now you have $20 million to buy other players. And believe you me, Daryl Dike would rather play in England if they make it to the Premier League.
No, go back to what you said. Now you have $20 million to spend on other players. Well, guess what? Guess what? In the NBA, I mean, yeah, you could get rid of LeBron James and you have a bunch more money to spend on other players. You're not getting a player as good as LeBron James.
Yeah, but the NBA is totally different because the NBA is the premier product. I understand. Is the Premier League. And so
I understand. I understand all that. I'm just wondering, again, if you're Orlando City and you're Orlando City's management and your fans, don't you want to keep Daryl Dike? I mean, why are they trying to sell him?
Well, because at some point, Daryl Dike is going to outgrow you. Okay, I mean, and unlike the NBA, there's like 7 different leagues this guy can go to and leave you holding a bag of nothing. And so when a player like that develops to this level, has had a loan spell over in Europe and been extremely successful, you take the $20 million. And remember, what's kind of important here is that they get 80% of the rights. So let's say Barnsley gets promoted to the Premier League, right? Mm-hmm. And then they say, okay, we're going to pay $20 million for DK. So that means that they've got DK, you've got the $20 million. Let's say that DK explodes, and now Real Madrid says, we're going to give you $100 million to Barnsley, right? Barnsley's like, sure, here's DK for $100 million. Guess who gets $20 million of that 100?
Orlando City.
They do. Mm-hmm. And so he's the gift that keeps on giving at that point. So there are things there, and at the end of the day, when you develop a player, you have a player like this, it's better for your club as a whole to sell the guy. Yes, for the here and now, you'd love to have DK scoring goals for you in the MLS. But the minute his contract is up, he's leaving you anyway. He's not going to be here past this contract that he's on right now. Ain't going to happen unless he gets hurt or something like that, and then he won't be the product you're seeing right now anyhow. You get what you can get for this guy right now. And yes, as a fan, you'd love to see him here, but the $20 million now and then potentially the 10 to 20 million later on can go a long way, especially in this league.
Hey, don't forget, 7:10 a.m. this morning, we have your first chance to win $1,000 on our game day payday. Just listen for the keyword. All right, when you hear it, go to our website, 969thegame.com, enter that word. It's that easy, and you can win $1,000 on the game day payday. Compliments of International Diamond Center. Let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now.
What you reading there, honey?
It's very exciting stuff, you see. It's the front page of the internet.
Here we go with the front page of the internet this morning. We start off on YouTube's trending page, where YouTube is trying to get in on the TikTok game a little bit. YouTube is now pushing shorter and shorter videos and actually has a section of their app called Just Shorts, and it's videos under a minute long. So they're trying to get that sweet, sweet TikTok game going. Well,
they should call it Tic Tac.
I think that name's taken, oddly enough.
I missed the mark on this thing because I saw that on my phone, and then I just opened like my third drawer down and took a photo of it and put it on YouTube. It's just my shorts. That's it. Just the shorts.
Nice. So one of the videos that is trending right now is one that just infuriates the hell out of me. It is from Cherry Pie Man. It is 16 seconds long, and yes. The title of the video is "Opening This Note Handed to Me in Class Over a Decade Ago," and it says "Open at 11:59 on this day, 2021." He opens it up. All it says, "What's up?" That's the whole note.
Gave it to him 10 years ago.
Yep.
So back when that "Was Up" commercial was cool for Budweiser.
That is correct. That was
Wait a minute.
That's it.
Wait, that's the video.
That's the video.
And people like just watch it.
1.7 million views. 1.7 million views.
See, my only struggle with that is that guy could have just created that like
Right?
10 minutes ago.
And been like,
I'm gonna do this.
I got to rough up the paper a little
Yeah.
bit, make it look good. Yeah, I don't know if it's real or not, but it's infuriating either way. Then also, a new challenge has come up on YouTube. We got to get in on this. This comes from Lexi Hensler, which this video has 2 million views. Eating only one colored food for 24 hours. So you have to make your diet around the color yellow or the color green, and all of your foods have to have that color in it. This video, has, like I said, has 2 million views, and people like the challenge. When are we jumping on this train for our YouTube?
I was trying to think of like what I could eat that's all the same color.
Most fried foods are brown.
I'm not doing fried food. Chocolate chip cookies
You
are
just
brown.
greens. You eat greens or broccoli.
Yeah, but I want to enjoy what I eat.
Put your salmon. You could put some green food coloring in your salmon.
No, you could. I think I think green's the color because I could do green beans and I can do the little English peas, and then for dinner I could do some sort of pesto.
Ooh, there you go.
Type meal, yeah. You can get it done. And then mint chocolate chip ice cream for dessert.
There we go.
Green's the color. Let's go, boys. Fellas, no mint chocolate chip ice cream.
No mint chocolate chip ice cream. What?
He hit the wrong button.
Good. He had to.
Oh, yeah, no. I was like, wait a minute. Who doesn't like mint chocolate chip ice cream?
Happy birthday today to singer extraordinaire Ty Dolla $ign. I know that Mike, huge fan of Ty Dolla $ign's early work when he was just Ty Cent sign.
Yeah, he was just Ty, 30 cents. Even
how old
before
is
he was 50 cents, huh?
50 cents.
I'm going to go, he's 37.
What is he, 32?
He's 39.
Is he 39?
He is 39. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not as old as I think I am. Hold on.
And finally, heading on over to Reddit, a photo is making the rounds. While tearing up their carpet, my in-laws found a giant Monopoly board. Most of the time when people tear up carpet, they're like, oh, this nice hardwood floors. I can't believe you covered it up. I can't believe these people covered up a giant Monopoly board. Like, it's just in their floor permanently. I would love that.
Like a painting or?
No, like it is.
Just underneath their carpet.
It is like hardwood floors, but it is a Monopoly board.
So in my mind, that would be like a really intricate work of woodwork. Is it wood or?
It appears to be wood.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Why would anyone cover that up? That's a statement piece.
Are they living in like Andy Warhol's old house or something?
Maybe. And that is the front page of the internet today.
Somebody just texted in for our spontaneous text question of the day, which is, athlete from the past you would like to have a front row seat to watch. Hank Aaron, obviously. Yeah, when Hank Aaron hit 715, that would have been awesome to be there for that. Vintage 1964 Olympic gold medal kick of Native American Billy Mills in the 10,000 meters. NBA Dick Banks call is iconic. I'd like to hear that. I'm going to go back and see if I can find that. Somebody texted in, we can only hope Daryl DK is the Fran Vasquez of the Premier League and stays home.
Oddly enough, don't think that's happening.
Don't think so.
No. While you were off on top secret assignment in Aruba last week, Adam, so yeah, I've been feuding with these spoiled Gator basketball fans who want Mike White fired. Okay, a lot of these fans on social media because obviously Mike White had the audacity to lose in the second round of the NCAA tournament to Oral Roberts, and then he had some players enter the transfer portal. They're saying, oh, he's losing control of the program. These players are transferring. Little did they know that players from every program in the country are transferring. There's like 1,200 players in the basketball transfer portal. I think 10 or 11 of the 14 SEC teams have at least 3 transfers. All right, but anyway, so I've been feuding with these Gator basketball fans saying you guys don't even realize what Gator basketball used to be before Billy Donovan. We've talked about it, all right? But anyway, so Mike White yesterday, he signs another player out of the trade. So he lost 4. 3 of those were reserves, and then Noah Locke, their starting shooting guard, has left because Noah Locke wanted an assurance that he was going to be the featured scorer next year and that he was going to be able to play some point guard. And Mike White said, no, you had like 6 assists this year. You're not playing point guard. So anyway, so he loses those 4 transfers. Well, yesterday he signed another transfer. He's since signed 4 transfers out of the portal. Yesterday it was Charleston Southern guard Philandrius Fleming Jr., who last year averaged 20 points, 20.1 points, 7.4 rebounds, 2 assists, and was the defensive player of the year. In the Big South Conference, this comes on the heels of him also signing Penn State's leading scorer last year, Myron Jones also comes on the heels of him signing Brandon McKissick out of Missouri, Kansas City, who averaged, what did he average last year? He averaged 17.2. He led his team in scoring and rebounding last year. So anyway, the point is Mike White's getting better transfers out of the portal than he lost to the portal. And I wish Gator basketball fans would realize that this is the new way of recruiting in college basketball. So, again, Mike White, get off his back, all right? Yes, he lost some transfers, as every school does, but guess what? The transfers he's getting are better. They're better than the ones he's losing. That's my point. Thoughts, anybody?
Well, the only thing I'll say is, look, recruiting in basketball is the same as recruiting in football. All that's great, and you can tally up points on that first Wednesday in February, or nowadays, we do it in December too. But at the end of the day, it's how'd you finish? And for Mike White, when you lose to Oral Roberts in the NCAA tournament, when the field opens up to you the way it did for Florida, and you choke that game away down the stretch, fans are unhappy. And so then when you follow that up with a bunch of players going, you know what? I don't know about this program. I'm ready to leave. I'm either ready to try my hand in the NBA, even though it may not be a great idea, or I'm willing to go somewhere else. I mean, you can see where fans would be critical. Now, he's gotten guys in to replace the guys who have left, and I guess...
Okay, but here's where I disagree with you, all right? I understand, okay, you lost to Oral Roberts, even though Oral Roberts beat Ohio State in the first round. They beat Florida in the second.
Irrelevant.
And they also almost won their Sweet 16 matchup. I'll give you the Oral Roberts argument, okay? But you should be more educated as a fan to know that, some players are transferring because they're not happy, or some players are going to the NBA. First of all, players going to the NBA, that's just going to happen, all right? And players transferring, you should be more educated to know that players at every school in the country are transferring, including your own conference. So why are you getting on him for that? Well, and again, why?
It's just the optics and the timing of it. It's just when your season is as up and down as Florida's was, and then you puke your way out of the tournament the way they did, and the very next day, 4 guys are like, "That's it, I'm out of here." It's just a bad look. It just looks like a guy who is losing control of the program and the players in it. Now he's gotten his feet back underneath him. He's brought in other guys from other programs. One being from Penn State, and the other 2 players that you mentioned from smaller schools that maybe would like an opportunity to play in a bigger conference. And now we sort of see where he's not being fired here during this offseason. He's going to get this next year for sure. And then he's got to put together a season that looks better than what last year's did.
God forbid that the guy loses his best player who almost dies on the court, and he navigates the season, gets to the tournament again for the 4th straight year. Oh, God forbid that he loses some players to the transfer portal.
John Calipari's at home right now going, "Yeah, man, get that Mike White guy out of there." John Calipari missed the whole tournament.
Anyway, all right, straight ahead, we're going to get into the sound off. That's coming your way. But first, we have your chance at $1,000. Is the sound off music. That means the Prince of Production, Kelly Velez, has compiled some of the best sound of the morning. He's going to play for us, and we are going to react. What do you have for us, Kelly?
Sound off. You know, it was precipitated by the Dante Wright shooting. You know, guys on both teams spoke again, just, a symbol of how badly that everybody feels that we need change, in our country. And obviously in the last 10 days, that's not the only thing that's happened. I think so. Again, peaceful protests continue to attempt to bring awareness to the problems that we have in our country right now. And like I said, the players got together and I thought it was a great idea.
That's right. That's Magic coach Steve Clifford talking about the teams getting together yesterday after the whole Dante Wright situation. Mike, what are we thinking?
Well, here's what we're thinking. I thought it was a great show of unity when the Magic and the Spurs locked arms on the court last night, held a moment of silence in the wake of Dante Wright being killed by police in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Obviously, we've seen reactions throughout sports. The Minnesota Twins, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Wild, they all postponed their scheduled games on Monday. And again, I think it's the correct reaction, especially up in Minnesota, where we already have the Derek Chauvin trial going on, where Derek Chauvin, the police officer up there, is on trial for the killing of George Floyd. So again, tempers are flaring right now. Emotions are raw in this country. No question about it. And sports is going to react to it. We've seen it over the last couple of years. We saw it after George Floyd's death. We saw it just a couple of weeks ago with Major League Baseball pulling the All-Star game out of Georgia because of Georgia's new voting law. Get used to it, people. Sports and athletes are going to take part in the political process. They're also going to take part in what's going on socially and racially in this country. So I think sports reacted correctly yesterday.
Sound off. Rebound down to Jamal Murray. Less than a minute go. Three-pointer would be nice. Murray right to the rack. Gets hammered, and he'll go. They're just going to say he lost that. That's a challenge.
He's hurt. Jamal's hurt.
And he's grabbing his left knee, and he is in severe amount of pain.
This is a worst-case scenario, sports fans. This is not what you wanted to see. Losing a game is nothing, but losing a star like Jamal Murray would be something.
Oh, man, that's a clip from yesterday. Jamal Murray going to the rack, injuring his left knee, was down for a while. They even tried to give him a wheelchair, but he was like, you know what, no, I'm going to walk it off. I'm going to get off the court on my own. Adam, what are you thinking?
I mean, as they were mentioning, that would be a huge loss. And it's a guy that helped carry them through the playoffs last year. I mean, was a big part of their success. And one of the great young players in this league, and so you hope that he was, the fact that he was willing to sort of walk it off kind of shows that maybe it's just I don't want to say a minor injury because no injury can be that minor when you're going to miss time, but maybe not as bad as it looked like it could have been in the moment of it happening. We'll certainly keep our eye on it, but yeah, definitely not one of the players the league wants to lose in a league where guys are load managing already. As we look around the league, looking for the superstars who are just taking nights off. It would be bad for the league to lose another one, but lose them for a longer period of time.
Right.
You wonder if it's the curse of the Orlando Magic injury situation that Aaron Gordon took out to Denver with him.
See, and it's funny because
Denver can have it. All right, Denver can take it.
I was talking to Olsen just about the way that these players today. We have to appreciate the way they're playing, the level that they're playing on. The Devin Bookers, the Jamal Murrays, the Steph Currys, because I feel like we haven't seen something like this ever in the league. That you have so many people performing at such a high volume. And it's unfortunate
especially
that
so many young players.
Exactly.
The young players are unbelievable.
Sound off.
By the way, Dallas has 10 picks. If you have to give up another one to move up and get Kyle Pitts, if you get Kyle Pitts right, by the way, he has no potential to bust. None. He's the only guy in the draft, he and Trevor Lawrence, zero chance of busting. In a draft where 40% of the players, well, maybe 30% will bust, another 10 to 15% will underachieve. He's the guarantee.
It's Colin Coward talking about how, the Cowboys, man, it looks like they want some Kyle Pitts going on down there, man. Mike, what you thinking?
Well, again, anybody who doesn't want a quarterback They should take Kyle Pitts. I don't care how many great wide receivers are out there. Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. I mean, this guy should be the first non-quarterback taken in the NFL draft. I don't care about Jamar Chase. I don't care about any of these wide receivers, all right? Devontae Smith. I'm taking Kyle Pitts. The guy runs as fast as they do. He ran like a 4.4 at Florida's Pro Day. He's 6'6", 245 or 50 pounds. He's a mismatch for anybody you put on him. Kyle Pitts should be the first non-quarterback taken in the draft. I totally agree with the Cowboys or anybody else moving up to get this guy. This guy's a Hall of Famer, for crying out loud.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Hold
he's a Hall of Famer. He will be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Hall of Fame.
You're trying to jinx this young man's career?
This is the
injury.
This is the annual Mike falling in love with a tight end pre-draft. Who was the guy? Who was the guy a couple years ago from Iowa that ended up in like Detroit that you love?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Gronk. He called it.
Mike remembers. He just said he doesn't remember.
You remember.
You
You remember. You know exactly who it is. Goodness.
That is the sound off for today.
That's it. Yeah. Why do you have to bring up? What
was that guy's name? What was his name? I can't even remember his name. And
it's not No Offense. It's the other one.
No, the guy who ended up at
George. You're talking about T.J. Hawkinson.
T.J. Hawkinson. Yeah, that's who it was.
T.J. Hawkinson. I think I said he was going to be a Hall of Famer too. He still might be.
Great. You've just ruined Kyle Pitts' career. When Kyle Pitts ends up stinking, you owe that man an apology.
I thought T.J. Hawkinson would be the next George Kittle, who might be in the Hall of Fame someday as well, okay? All right, straight ahead. Speaking of wide receivers and tight ends, we had one of the all-time great postseason wide receivers retire yesterday, the great Julian Edelman. What will his legacy be? We'll get into that and some other NFL stories next on Open Mic.
Whether you're drinking your morning coffee or sipping on a cell
Our spontaneous text question today in honor of Steph Curry breaking Wilt Chamberlain's scoring record as the all-time leading scorer for the Warriors. All right, Wilt Chamberlain used to play for the Philadelphia Warriors, where he scored 100 points in one game, and they moved to San Francisco, where he played for the San Francisco Warriors as well. Well, he held the record. Well, Steph Curry broke the all-time scoring record of Wilt Chamberlain for the Warriors last night, and in honor of that, our spontaneous text question is, great athletes from the past you wish you had a front row seat that you could have seen. And that is in honor, of course, of Wilt Chamberlain. All right, so text in 50857 your answers to that question. Somebody just texted in, would have loved to have been on the front row for Jimmy V's Never Give Up speech. That's from Azalea Park, Bob. That was a really emotional speech. Seeing Mike Tyson's debut heavyweight fight. Who was that against? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah. Can we Google that? Watching Satchel
Probably didn't go well for whoever that guy was. Whoever Mike Tyson's debut fight. Had a good night for that guy.
Watching Satchel Paige pitch. Yeah. And then reading some of his famous quotes afterwards. He had some great quotes back in the day, Satchel Paige.
Hector Mercedes.
Huh?
Hector Mercedes was Mike Tyson's first professional fight.
How many seconds of the first round did he get knocked out?
This clip is 2 minutes 51 seconds. So I assume
that
about 2 minutes.
includes like the ring walk up.
I would
and everything.
imagine so.
I actually heard him talking about his debut and how he was going to be the head, the main event, but he was so young that in that state he couldn't be the main event, and so therefore couldn't get paid the $200,000 he was going to make that night. And so they had to pay him less, and he says, but then he said he later got his money.
Yeah, I bet he did.
It appears this match lasted 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes. There you go. It's not a match.
Fight.
It's wrestling.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Still in a wrestling frame of mind.
These guys are really hitting each other in this one here. It's different.
Gosh dang it!
I guess it is called a boxing match.
Yeah. Get out of here. My vernacular's fine.
Yeah. All right, so New England Patriots star receiver Julian Edelman, who obviously helped New England win, I think he was on 3 championship teams, 3 Super Bowls. He was a Super Bowl MVP at one point. He announced his retirement in a video posted on social media yesterday. Here's a clip from that video.
Nothing in my career has ever come easy. And no surprise, this isn't going to be easy either. Now, I've always said, I'm going to go until the wheels come off. And they finally have fallen off. Due to an injury last year, I'll be making my official announcement of my retirement from football. It was a hard decision, but the right decision for me and my family. And I'm honored and so proud to be retiring a Patriot.
Aw, he's retiring a Patriot. Unlike Tom Brady, who bolted for Tampa Bay. No. 12 years the guy spent with the New England Patriots. He ranked second in the NFL with 118 postseason receptions behind only, anybody want to take a guess? 118 postseason receptions, second all-time behind?
God, I would say Jerry Rice, but I don't.
The greatest receiver of all time, you got it. Okay. Jerry Rice, 151. Wow. Yeah. I mean, who will ever forget that diving, improbable catch? And I don't remember what number the Super Bowl was, but they were trailing the Falcons 28-3. And they came charging back, and Edelman made that catch, which sort of sparked the rally. 2 years later, in another Super Bowl victory over the Rams, he was named the MVP of the Super Bowl with 10 catches for 141 yards. Tom Brady, by the way, took to social media yesterday to praise Julian Edelman. Quote from a Tom Brady's Twitter account. On the biggest stage and in the biggest moments, you always came through. You never lost that chip on your shoulder, and you never let anyone define you as a person or a player. I'm proud of you, Jules. Love you. That was from Tom Brady. Yeah. I got to tell you, Julian Edelman is a testament to what you can do, and go ahead and get the OK Boomer thing ready. He is a testament to what you can do if you work hard and you're committed. He's why I have no sympathy whatsoever for guys like Johnny Manziel, and we've talked about Antonio Callaway on this show many times, guys like Josh Gordon. I mean, these guys had all the talent in the world, and they frittered it away. Julian Edelman, 7th round draft pick, a quarterback in college at, where did he go to college? Like Kent State or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Did whatever he needed to do to stay on the team. Whatever he needed to do, special teams, he worked his ass off. Fortunately for him, Bill Belichick said, hey, wait a minute. This guy kind of, he cuts really quickly. Hey, maybe I could make him a punt returner or maybe a receiver. And Bill Belichick saw something in Julian Edelman. And again, Julian Edelman did whatever he had to do to make himself relevant and to stay on the team. So good for Julian Edelman. 12-year career, one of the great postseason receivers of all time.
What is
God,
OK
how many?
Boomer?
Yeah, there you go. How many times? How many times have you been watching a Patriots game back in their heyday and they were playing maybe your favorite team or a team you wanted to beat, the Patriots, and they had a 3rd and 8 or a 3rd and 9 or even a 3rd and 15, and Tom Brady would throw the ball to Julian Edelman. He'd make a cut, make the first guy miss, and then he'd fall for the first down. How many times did we see that over the years? Unbelievable.
A bunch. I mean, it happened so much. Yeah, it used to be Wes Welker doing it, and then it was Julian Edelman. Danny Amendola went there. They all like blurred together at one point. Like, wait a minute, yeah, but Tom Brady's been doing this for years. It looks like the same guy. And kudos to Julian Edelman too. Because when guys have made some anti-Semitic remarks, I mean, he's a guy that stood up and sort of wanted to educate other athletes on some of the verbiage and the words that they've used. We saw that with was it Deshaun Jackson at one point? And
Deshaun Jackson, yeah.
And then who is the basketball player? Myers Leonard as well. So some of his off the field stuff is as impressive as the on the field stuff, except for that time that he met that girl off Tinder, and then she took the selfie with him and then blasted her.
What was that? I forgot.
Julian Edelman like hooked up with some girl from Tinder, and then as he was sleeping in the hotel bed next to her, she snaps a selfie like, I just hooked up with Julian Edelman.
Oh my God. Good Lord. All right, straight ahead. What do we want to talk about next? Well, we have Adam Shadoff, Fox 35 sports anchor. He's going to join us to tackle all the hot topics of the day, including, we should change our poll question. Is Kyle Pitts a future Hall of Famer? How about that? That's next on Open Mic.
Open Mic. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Who has the best
Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
Welcome back to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, joined as always by Adam Reardon, the deceptive intellect, and of course Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound.
Yeah.
Also, our producer in training, Kelly Velez, the Prince of Production, we call him. Together, we are Open Mic, the foursome this morning of sports talk radio excellence in the megalopolis. We know. Yeah. No, there's no quadroca.
Oh, dang
it's
it.
just a foursome. Just a foursome. Game day payday, your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 8:10 a.m. this morning. All you have to do is listen for the keyword. When you hear it, head to our website. Don't text it in. Head to our website, 969thegame.com. Enter the word. It's that easy. We do it 12 times a day. We do it twice on our show, 7:10 a.m., 8:10 a.m. Actually, we do it 3 times, 9:10 a.m., and then on the 10s throughout the day. All right, so earlier this morning, we had a caller, Ernesto, one of our regular callers from Jacksonville, and he likes to suck up to Austin Pastolka, all right? So
he's a fan. What do you mean, suck up to Austin Pastolka?
So he said he wants to sponsor Austin Pastolka, and Austin could go around go around the country, whatever. And then he made reference to, and we'd call it Austin City Limits. All right.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes. So, Adam, do you get that reference?
Yes.
Do you know what?
Yep.
Do you know what Austin City Limits is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Reference to what? The city of Austin?
No.
Austin had no idea what the reference was, and he was like lauding Ernesto for this call. I'm like, do you even know what Austin City Limits is? He goes, yeah, the city of Austin. I go, no. No.
What?
Austin City Limits used to be a show on. It was like a concert series, all right? Because Austin is a great musical capital of the country, and they would have. It was usually, I think it was country music mainly, all right, or country western. Guys like Jerry Jeff Walker and some of these Waylon Jennings. They would appear on Austin City Limits, and it would essentially be a concert show, right, Adam?
Yeah, I think normally on PBS or something like that, or one of those channels. And I'm looking it up right now because I think it's still around.
Is it still on?
Yeah, I think so. But they've kind of sort of expanded on which genres are on there. You're right. I think it originally started with more of a country feel, but I want to say that they've
it's still going on apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah, but we all know Austin isn't the most musical guy out there, so I'm not faulting him. Like, I didn't know either. I'm a music guy. I didn't know. I wasn't aware.
So anyway, that was Austin and
So we got to
Kelly.
change the name. Is all I'm hearing. Is I'm still getting my RV show, but I got to change the name to something else.
Hey, by the way, it says originally created to shine a spotlight on original Texas music, the show has expanded its boundaries and encompass a wide range of styles and artists featuring notables such as Pearl Jam, Elvis Costello, Johnny Cash, and Neil Young.
Whoa.
Yeah,
a little something for everyone in that grouping.
Absolutely. All right, I want to get into this real quick before we get Adam Shadoff on. This is our thought-provoking daily poll question of the day. It's about, we talked yesterday about UCF entering the name and likeness era during the spring game on Saturday, when they did have their Twitter handles or their social media handles on the backs of their jerseys instead of their names, all right? And Gus Malzahn, the UCF new head coach, said, hey, it's a personal branding era. We're going to embrace it. Well, FSU took it a step further yesterday. They're really embracing it because they've hired a company, all right, to work with the players to create a new program to help athletes capitalize on the upcoming name, image, and likeness legislation. You can read the story in the Orlando Sentinel. Matt Murschel wrote about it, and I'm reading from it right now. The program is called Apex and is a multi-tiered program launched by FSU and INFLCR, which is some company, which I don't know what those letters stand for, but it says in the story it's a content creation software company that specializes in sports-focused social media. In essence, FSU has hired a company to help their athletes find out how they can monetize social media. I guess and again, I guess UCF and FSU, I guess they figure that social media is where the athletes are going to be able to make their money. But I question. I'm not questioning that social media is where they can make money. But couldn't they make, if you're a big star in college, can't you make more money by doing like corporate endorsements? Sort of like. The local car dealership or the local jewelry store, or even that. If you're a big enough name, you could get like national endorsement deals. Could you not?
That is an old person way of thinking. No offense, Mike, but that is an old school way of thinking when it comes to making big money. You know how many 20-year-old women make their living way better than you or I just posting on Instagram, posting in a bikini with the brand of the bikini. Like, again,
I'm not saying you can't make money that way. I'm just saying if you're a big enough star, if you're Devonta Smith in Alabama, or you're, again, back in the Tim Tebow days or the Johnny Manziel days, if you're a big enough star, I'm saying you can make more money by sponsoring Chrysler cars. Now, the Instagram models you're talking about, they're not famous enough to sponsor Chrysler cars, whereas Johnny Manziel and Tim Tebow are. Well, that's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what would be really interesting to me is over the course of time, when we cross this bridge, which is UCF is a Nike school, correct?
Yes.
At what point does Adidas reach out to a sophomore who is a big time player and say, we want you to promote Adidas brand?
Good point.
You know what I mean? Because I was sitting there thinking about Zion and what Zion signed for, and and when these guys leave college basketball, they're in line for these big giant shoe paydays. Well, does this open the door for shoe companies now to go, well, I don't have to wait for this guy to leave school. I can go get this guy now. He's a sophomore. He looks like the next big thing in college football. He's going to be a Nike representative, and
that's why we talked about this a little bit earlier today. That's why I think schools are worried that they're going to be competing against their own athletes for endorsement deals. I think.
Yeah. I definitely think so. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, if a school's a Nike school and Adidas wants to sign a kid from that school, maybe they sign him to the lifestyle brand, which is the sweatshirts and the pants and all that stuff like that he can be wearing in his Instagram and showing off on his YouTube page and all that good stuff as well. Heck, if anybody should know about this, shouldn't UCF just reach back out to that kicker who had to give up his college football career because he was monetizing his name and likeness before this all became cool?
Yeah, Donald Delahaye.
Yeah. Reach out to him. That's the guy who should be instructing these kids, not some 60-year-old guy that's going to try to steer them in the right direction. They need to get a kid who's actually been there, done that.
I really do think that schools are worried that, and again, it's coming. What you just mentioned is coming. Say, and again, I'll just use Kyle Pitts as an example, since he's the biggest name college football star in the state of Florida from last year. All right, what's to stop Kyle Pitts and his rep from saying, "Listen, I'm not going to wear these Nike shoes. I have a chance to make my own deal with Adidas, and I'm going to wear their shoes." What's to stop that? Really, when you think about it,
the contract that the school has right now. But I mean, as we move forward, I don't think there's a hurdle that we won't see cleared in the next 10 to 15 years if we continue on this path.
Yeah. All right, let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9, The Game.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
It's TV time on Open Mic.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Let's hear from Fox 35's own Adam Shadoff.
Adam Shadoff, Fox 35. You can watch him on the Fox 35 Sports Zone every weeknight. That's about 11:30 p.m. They take a deep dive into all the sports happenings in Central Florida. You can also watch on Sunday at 11:35. Adam, were you in the Gus Malzahn press conference the other day at the spring game?
No, I was not because I had to. I went to the game. I saw you there, and then I had to drive home and anchor. We had a 5 o'clock newscast. It was terrible timing, so I had to anchor during that.
So you didn't hear the awkward moment that I created during the press conference, did you?
No, but I'm not surprised that there was one.
So I need you to maybe defend me just a little bit before we get into the Shadoff shout-out. So at the end of the press conference, you know how it is sometimes. The people are just sort of making small talk and asking some questions maybe that you wouldn't normally ask at the beginning of the press conference. All right? So out of the blue, I was asked Gus Malzahn, have you gotten the vaccination yet? All right.
Wait, hold on. Let's do this officially. Let's do this.
You have the clip. All right.
No.
You got it?
I don't know yet.
Gus, campus is wide open for.
Okay. So I asked him, have you been vaccinated? He said no, and then I made the mistake of asking the follow-up, are you going to? And he goes, I'm not sure yet. It was an awkward moment.
Yeah,
it was very
awkward. Yep.
Yeah. So,
a little awkward there.
I should not have asked that, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think I think you're okay to ask that. I mean, he's a public figure, and it's important that they all. I mean, yeah, I think that was fine.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right, because I gave myself a goofball yesterday for asking the question and creating that awkward moment. So.
Well, I mean, he has interaction with a ton of people, including all those kids, and he's a public figure. He works for a public university. I think that was fine.
Okay, thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Thank you. You made me feel better. Austin defended me yesterday, and you're defending me today. Adam Reardon just ripped me yesterday for it. So, anyway.
All right,
let's do a little.
What was his reason?
Go ahead.
No, I didn't rip. I just said it was like, I mean, there is a tightrope you're walking there, like how deep do we get into his I say his personal life, but and you could tell right after the first question he wasn't interested. Mike went back for seconds.
Yes,
yeah, Mike was in the uncomfortable buffet line, and he went back for seconds.
I do deserve to get ripped for asking the follow-up question. I will agree with that. All right, let's do a little shout out with Shadoff, shall we?
Shout it out from the rooftop. Woo-hoo! It's time for the Shadoff Shout-Out.
All right, here we go with the Shadoff Shout-Out this week, brought to you by Frank Gay Services. If you need an electrician or a plumber and you need them right now, go to frankgayservices.com. They will hook you up with all of your electrical and plumber needs. That's frankgayservices.com. Let's start off with the open mic thought-provoking daily poll, which is this. With FSU announcing Monday it is partnering with a company to help its athletes capitalize on the upcoming name, image, and likeness legislation, is this being done more to help Florida State athletes or to lure Florida State recruits? Mike.
Well, I'm a cynic, all right? I always look at conspiracy theories. I'm not saying that they're not trying to lead athletes in the right direction, but I think all schools, including UCF on Saturday, when they allowed the players to put their Twitter handles on the backs of their uniforms, I think they're trying to send a message not only to their current players, but to recruits that say, hey, man, there's a school that gets it. There's a school that's trying to help us make money and monetize our name, image, and likeness. They're looking to take care of us. I think recruiting reasons.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's recruiting. It's so that they can have success
with a number of players, and that they can then point to that success to potential future players and say, look, we've done really well with this player and this player. Look how much money they've made. Come here. We're the ones that know how to do it. We can help make you money. And whether or not it works for the majority of the players, who cares? It's going to work for some of them, and it's going to help recruiting. That's it.
With 87% of the vote, a landslide victory for lure in FSU recruits. The dastardly, evil college. Ooh.
Yeah.
Supplemental poll number 1, will Gators tight end Kyle Pitts be the first non-quarterback taken in the upcoming NFL draft? Yes or no, Adam?
Oh, God. I mean, I maybe I would. I sure would if I were an NFL front office person. But, I mean, there's the receiver from Louisiana State, and then there's Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. It's probably going to be close, but I know I would if I were an NFL front office guy, so I'll say yes.
If you are in the market for any sort of receiver, forget about Jamar Chase, forget about Devontae Smith, forget about all of these, forget about Kadarius Toney, forget about all of these receivers, all right? Kyle Pitts is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. He's 6'6", about 250 pounds, runs a 4.40. He's a mismatch. He's a matchup nightmare. This guy should not only be the first non-quarterback taken. This guy's a future Hall of Famer. I'm saying it right now. This guy will be in Canton someday.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, 63% of the vote says yes. Let's quickly jump to the spontaneous supplemental poll, which has gone up as of late, and it's that question that Mike just said. Is Kyle Pitts a future Hall of Famer, yes or no? Adam, what do you think?
I think there's a really good possibility. I'm going to say yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, listen, assuming he stays healthy, why not? He was clearly the best tight end in football last year, and probably one of the best receivers. I mean, besides Devontae Smith, he was one of the best receivers. He is so physically gifted and such a physical freak that if he can continue to do that at the next level and stay healthy, there's no reason why he wouldn't be a tight end Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, he is a freak athlete. Bianchi is completely right. He could be
well said. Well said, Adam Shadoff.
You guys just jinxed this man's entire career. I can't believe you dislike Kyle Pitts that much to jinx this man's career. 51% of the vote, early voting so far, says no, he will not be a future Hall of Famer.
Okay.
All right, supplemental poll, back on track now. Supplemental poll number 2. Do you agree with Orlando City SC owner Flavio Augusto da Silva that Lions home games could be at full capacity by next month? Yes or no, Mike?
Well, yeah, I mean, we live in the state of Florida. We know what our governor wants. He wants businesses to open back up at full capacity. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings said yesterday they're going to start relaxing the face mask requirements and some of the other social distancing protocols. So, yeah, I think by mid-May, there's a really good chance we could have full capacity.
I mean, it's a strange question. Do we agree with him that they could be at full capacity? Well, yeah, I think he knows more than we do as far as what's happening. I know the Amway Center is going to have, isn't it Joe Rogan, the comedian, is having a show there at full capacity relatively soon. So, yeah, I'm sure Flavio knows what he was talking about. And, yes, I agree with Bianchi that they're on the way towards having full capacity games. Whether or not they should be, that's a different issue.
With 55% of the vote, yes wins this one. We got to buzz through these last couple. Supplemental poll number 3. Are you okay with Kyrie Irving taking personal days and not playing games for the Brooklyn Nets? Yes or no? Adam?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, and maybe I'm going to be in the minority here, but here's why. We all know that for a team like the Nets, the regular season doesn't matter. They also knew what they were getting into when they signed Kyrie Irving. He's a weird, different kind of a dude. So whatever he needs to do to get himself in the headspace to be good to go come playoff time, I am fine with it. The regular season doesn't matter for them. Just get to the playoffs and be all good.
You know my answer to this. Obviously, if your significant other is having a baby or you have a death in the family, obviously you're going to take those days off for personal reasons, but just to take days off, no, you go to work. You're making $30 million a year. A lot of people dig ditches for a living. They go to work. Yes, you go to work. You don't take personal days.
With 77% of the vote, no wins this one. Supplemental poll number 4. Will Tiger Woods ever win another major? Yes or no? Mike.
Well, sadly, I don't think Tiger Woods is ever going to win another tournament. I mean, he was already on the downside of his career, even though he won the Masters a couple years ago. I hope he does. I hope he comes back and is competitive and can win again. But I don't think he will because, again, he was rarely winning even before the car accident.
Not only is he not going to win another major, I think there's a very good chance he doesn't play in another golf tournament again. I think the injury was so severe. He had already had so many injuries. He's at a point where he's so old and he's been through so many rehabs and so much stuff. I think he's just going to rehab in order to have some sort of a regular walking situation, a regular life, and he's going to say, forget about it. I'm not sure he ever even plays golf again, which is really sad.
Yeah.
With 91% of the vote, no, he will not win another major. And finally, the open mic Would You Rather poll. Which villain would you rather take in a fight? Pennywise or Darth Vader? Adam, let's go with you.
Do we have weapons here? What's the scenario?
You have weapons that would be, that would be correct for the movie that you're in. So, Darth Vader, you have a lightsaber. Pennywise, you have, your wits.
I mean, Pennywise is he's basically just a little clown. So it's not really much. It's not going to be too much of a problem to take him. I'm going Pennywise. Darth Vader, even if you had the best possible, weapons to use on him, he just pulls the mind trick on you and takes it away, and you're dead. Pennywise, he's just a little clown. It's easy.
Bozo the clown cannot take the bulldog, all right? I would much rather fight Bozo Pennywise the clown than Darth Vader. Come on, Bozo. Bring it on.
Oh, man. With 56% of the vote, Pennywise wins this one.
Yeah.
Adam Shadoff, we always appreciate your Tuesday visits. We'll catch you on the Fox 35 Sports Zone, my friend.
All right. See you guys.
Straight ahead, we're going to talk some Orlando Magic with the assistant GM. What are they thinking heading into the draft? That is next on Open Mic. But first, we have your chance at $1,000.
Now, here's your chance to
First things first, I saw Stan Heath is leaving the Lakeland Magic. He took a job at his alma mater to coach college basketball up at Eastern Michigan. Talk about Stan Heath and the job he did for you guys.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing, and such a cool experience. That whole Lakeland program kind of goes a little bit under the radar, flies under the radar here in Orlando. But that's really been established as one of the premier programs in the G League. And Stan getting hired by Eastern Michigan is validation of that. It's been so neat to kind of watch that whole thing evolve and grow, and everyone organizationally from top to bottom so excited for Stan. He's really earned that opportunity. It's going to be fun to watch.
How much does it help you guys? I mean, they just moved to Lakeland a few years ago, having your developmental team nearby.
It's been great, and when Jeff Wellman came from Toronto, they had experience winning the G League championship, and that happened for us this year. In kind of a strange season, playing out at a bubble in Disney, the team won the championship this year. So having that program so close and being able to kind of shuttle players in between has really helped some of the developmental efforts that we've had, and we've been able to really see an uptick in being able to populate our roster. So Devin Kennedy is on the team right now. Is on our team on a 10-day contract. Robert Franks is on the Magic right now on a 10-day contract. They were both key contributors to that team that won the championship with Stan. So it's such a great advantage. It's 45 minutes away. The atmosphere that they've created there is really cool, and so it's been a really neat advantage for us.
Can you just talk about yourself for a moment? You've been in Orlando you've been with the Magic 9 or 10 years now. Just talk about what you like about working for the Magic and why you've been here for as long as you have.
This is my 9th season, and I have to say it's really a great pleasure to be on with you today. Kind of having come here and being able to get integrated into the community and stuff, and seeing the impact that you have on not only the Orlando sports scene, but Central Florida. So it's a great pleasure to be on here today with you. I worked 17 years.
Austin, make a recording of him saying that, please. Thank you so much.
But I worked for the Chicago Bulls for 17 seasons before I came here, and this has been my 9th year here. So, it's not as simple as, having a 30-second kind of answer or 15-second answer about what it means for me to be here. I've kind of seen the evolution of the team and over the last 9 years and seen it unfold. And, every day I kind of get up and am grateful and excited for the day, and I know what the team means to the community here. And I've seen it kind of, the passion that the fans have, the passion that everyone in Central Florida has for the Magic, and so it's great. I mean, it's a great honor, and my job is to really inform the decision makers like Jeff Weltman and John Hammond in all areas of personnel, and it's something that our group takes a lot of pride in every day. Trying to feed and give them the information they need to make these really critical decisions.
How now you're not allowed to talk about specific players you're scouting, is that right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I would like to avoid getting fined $1 million by the NBA. Yeah, so
okay.
if there's any way we could avoid specifics, that would be great.
Well, I guess one question I wanted to ask you is, how hard has it been to scout college basketball over the last year and a half with all the disruptions because of COVID?
Yeah, it's been challenging, and our general comfort level is with getting out and seeing players play in games, and we take a lot of pride, I think, as a scouting community, and not just for the Magic, but in the NBA overall. You kind of wear this badge of honor, and I saw 200 games live this year, or I was at and so that changed. That changed. We've been doing a lot of it virtually this season, and that's been okay. A lot of film. We've got so much video. We've got so much stats. We've got so much information at our fingertips. It's been able to give us an opportunity to step back and see how we can, be better for it. And we did get an opportunity. We saw a couple conference tournaments at the end of the season. Jeff and John and I went to the NCAA tournament for the first couple rounds in Indianapolis, and so we were able to kind of get one look at a guy in person. We're going to have many more opportunities as the pre-draft cycle kind of ramps up in earnest to see these guys in person, be able to size them up physically. But it's been challenging, but at the same time, it's really kind of afforded us an opportunity to innovate a little bit. And so I don't think there's going to be anything that we've missed in terms of, the live scouting experience. We're going to get to be able to replicate that towards the end of the year and in workouts and in visits and that sort of thing. But it has been challenging, and it's been a fun opportunity to look at things from a different way after doing something the same way for 30 years.
Orlando Magic assistant GM Matt Lloyd, he's right here on Open Mic, and we certainly appreciate it. You talked about going to the NCAA tournament with Jeff and John Hamm, and I'm wondering, not just this year, but any year, how much do you take into account what these players do in the NCAA tournament when the bright lights are on them?
Yeah, it's I get that question a lot, and it's definitely an important one, because when we're making these picks and when we're really sifting through information and getting to the point where we're capable of making a decision on a player, it's really important to take the entire body of work into play. And so that entire body of work really dates back to when they're in high school and we have these pre-college exposures to them, maybe via Team USA basketball, maybe via the high school All-American, type of all-star games that we're allowed to see, both practices and games. And, obviously a lot of that didn't happen last year, but for this 21 class, for the 21 draft, we are able to reference, having seen players at the elite levels, the one and done players and some of the early entry players. We have seen them play in USA basketball at the national team level. So, it's so important to take, the entire body of work. The NCAA is great because it is a pressurized environment, and every game, every possession means something. But at the same time, we have to also kind of take that emotion out of it and be able to make a decision based on everything that we've seen since the player was, 15, 16 years old.
I'm curious, as somebody who scouts basketball players and has scouted basketball players for a long time, would you prefer college basketball be like college football, where players are in college for 3 years and that way you could get a really good idea how good they are?
I think one of the differences there is, the NFL scout, and listen, I know literally nothing about football. I couldn't line up a play. I couldn't tell you anything that's going on in the game. I like to watch it, but the one difference is that the college football players, they don't get like a college. They're not. There's not like an all-star circuit. There's not a national team circuit. They're not playing international competition. So we're able to see them kind of progress quickly and early. And like RJ Hampton on our team, we traded for him from Denver. He had been playing basically as a junior in high school, classed up, and then played for the New Zealand Breakers. And so this whole year would have been, in effect, could have been his freshman year of college. And, but he he was going to think about going to college and then decided to play for the New Zealand Breakers. So, the cycle of the kids and how they play and where they play is so different from college football to college. And I know college baseball is the same thing. If you play college baseball, you're there, you're supposed to be there for 3 years. And I don't know the rules exactly, but, we kind of always try to function with the rules that we have. And these are the rules that we have. This is how it's currently constructed. And so, we'll do the best we can, operating within that context.
Matt, last one. We've seen an influx of players sort of skip college and go to the G League. In fact, some of the top draft prospects come from the G League this year. Do you see that trend continuing? And I guess it would be easier to scout them in the G League, is it not?
Yeah, we were really lucky this year because that entire G League bubble was here in Orlando out at Disney. So from a live scouting perspective, we were able to go out and really get eyes on those kids at every single game. We staffed every single game from a scouting perspective, and then we covered the entire league. So the league is just really scratching the surface at what type of venue it can be for that type of situation. And I think the way that the G League Ignite performed this season, and the G League Ignite was the team that had some of the kids that had gone from high school to the G League. That program is just kind of scratching the surface of how valuable it can be from a basketball development standpoint and from a pro basketball perspective, because those guys are being prepared kind of differently than they are at other levels. So it's not to say one level is wrong or one level is right, or you should do one level or you shouldn't do one. Everyone's got to make their own individual decision based on what they want for themselves and for their families. But it is just overboiling with potential, and I think we'll probably see a little bit of growth in it, incremental growth over the next couple of years, and we'll have to see how it plays out, with this class that's coming in. But overall, it was a major success this season.
He is Orlando Magic assistant GM Matt Lloyd. Matt, we appreciate you joining us, and thank you so much for the kind words as well.
Well, I really appreciate it. And, Dante Marcatelli set this whole thing up, and they said they need a Magic celebrity. And I said, well, we must be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here with celebrity status. But I still appreciate the chance to have been on this morning.
Thank you, Matt. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Take care.
You're a celebrity in our book, Matt Lloyd. Love that guy. Love the fact that he complimented the open mic. How about it, guys? Give him a standing ovation. Give him a standing ovation.
That's your favorite part. You just look